Hey everyone, so we saw Evil Geniuses take down their first LCS championship this past weekend, and I think a lot of people addressed this championship win as something that could signal very good big changes for the LCS and set the league in a good direction. Because of them winning with Danny and with Jojo Pian and having that young North American talent involved, and not just going deep in the playoffs, but actually winning a title and seeing the fan response they got, I think a lot of people look at that and say, hey, this is what we've kind of been looking for North America. Like, invest into the local talent, bring it up. We can be, there are good players here that we can use, and it doesn't have to be importing all the time. And I think this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now, and I want to address it a little bit as well, because I think there are a lot of different kind of lessons or takeaways people can take from this. And of course, in the moment of the win and in the short term aftermath, it's very, very exciting to kind of throw yourself fully into that kind of storyline, into that NA talent kind of hype mode. And I certainly did, and I'm happy that I did. And I hope a lot of other people are happy that they're jumping on that bandwagon as well, or already were on it. But I think, as a few days pass, you do need to become a little more measured in how you apply that, what you take away from what EG's win actually means. And also, and what I want to talk about here, what should the other teams take away from EG's win, and what, sports is always a copycat kind of environment. Whoever's winning the most, the other teams will often try to either replicate that or, counter it in some way. They did this to win, so we're going to do this because, you have to actually understand what they did to win and then respond to it somehow. So, the way I reacted right off the bat was to put out a little meme. And here's what that looked like. So at the most basic level, teams can react by saying, oh man, Denny and Jojo Pian are so good, we need to buy those guys from Evil Geniuses. This might be the reaction of a very, very rich organization that has a history of not promoting its own internal talent out of academy or other places unless it absolutely needs to. I'm not trying to be throwing anyone under the bus here, but I'm just saying this is a certain reaction that could exist, but that I think would be like the most basic and obviously not really the accurate one. Not that these guys aren't worth trying to buy out. People were trying to buy them out last off season, so of course they're going to be saying, how much would you want? And those numbers just got a whole lot higher than they were 6 months ago, and they were already prohibitively high. The next level of reaction would be that teams realize we need to find and develop our own Danny and Jojo Pian. This is a great reaction. If 5 or 6 of the teams in the league took this as their level of reaction, I'd say, hey, that's a pretty good win for NA talent. That they're all out there trying to scout and trying to find the best players. But the real big takeaway to me is that teams need to start hiring and developing the best scouts and the best academy coaches. And there are orgs who are already doing this. And of course, I'm not saying that orgs are just going to, have their owners or general managers do all the scouting for them, that kind of thing. Although I think it might happen in some cases, or they'll just, they'll get the coaches to do the scouting off the side of their desk, or once they're out of the playoffs and they say, okay, now go scout us some players. But I really think there are teams already doing this, and others that are working in that direction of saying, competing for the NA talent and trying to sign the best prospects is a really big deal. Signing the best scouts who know how to find those prospects earlier than others, that's, I think, where the real talent war is in North America, because that list of people who's that good at scouting and identifying these players is not that long. And I think, on a positive call outside, obviously Evil Geniuses found Danny and Jojo Pian. They've got a really good scouting staff. 100 Thieves is the other org that has been doing arguably even better, but it's been a little bit more of a long-term project, and I think we'll be seeing the fruits of what they've been working on over the coming years. But they arguably have even more elite prospect talent in their system, and it's just still in the pipeline. But there are other orgs, I think, who need to be competing and realizing the problem isn't really that we're losing out on getting the best prospects in. The challenge is the scouts and the development staff who take the prospects we have and get the best out of them. And that's, like I said, I think that's where the real talent war is. So to kind of summarize a few takeaways, or to get, not so much summarize, but get into a little bit more detail on it. I think if orgs go in and are at a little bit of a shallower level on it and not realizing how much work and how much skill goes into finding these players and developing these players, they're just going to start promoting NA rookies and say, hey, we've got some guys in our academy system. We think they're pretty good. Promote them and hope for the same level of results. And that's not going to happen. I don't think it's appropriate to label Danny and Jojo Piano as like exceptions. I think there are other players who can have similar level of effect on the league, have similar quality rookie splits or second splits in Danny's case. But they are top tier prospects, and they were top tier prospects. And not every player in Academy is going to have that same level of potential. So you really need to be able to identify who are the good prospects and who are the great prospects, and who are the ones that are actually going to be promotable, and what's our team circumstance. If we're a team that wants to go to Worlds, let's say you're looking at like right away now promoting for summer. If you're a team that has the expectation that you need to go to Worlds and you're going to promote out of your academy system into the LCS, that is a different question than if you are a team who is trying to earn your way into the top 5 and generate some long-term momentum, and it's going into a spring split. Promoting a rookie out of academy for that is a very different kind of equation to address. So these are some questions that I hope that these orgs are going to think about really hard and answer, and not just say, we've got a player in our academy system. We think he's as good as what EG have done. So we expect that if we promote this player, we're going to have the same. We're not necessarily going to win a title because nobody can control for that, but we're going to be, for sure top 3 if you give them enough time to learn. I think some lessons that are good to learn from what AG have done. First of all, just to acknowledge that NA talent exists. And I know it seems kind of stupid to have to say this, but there are some teams that need convincing of this. Not that many anymore, but there are some that, they won't bring in a domestic rookie if they can possibly avoid it. They are going to scout anywhere but NA. And look, if you find there may not be a massive, deep talent pool, there aren't 20 Dannys and Jojo Pians out there. There's a much smaller number, but they're there. They do exist. You just have to know how to find them and invest properly into that side. I think it's good to learn that you can win with young NA players, not just that you can get by or that you can get some like replacement level players, but that you can actually win titles with this. And in fact, as I've said many times in the past, I believe that championship level or championship potential domestic players are the most valuable resource in the league. And I think a lot of orgs agree with me. They approach that question different ways, though. Do they agree that, a Jojo Pian is the most valuable resource in the league? Or that, a Kenvi or a Busio is the most valuable resource in the league? Or do they believe that getting a high-quality veteran who was not domestic but now is, that's the most, like Core JJ is the most valuable resource in the league, which... I mean, that's a very fair perspective, but which one is actually easier to generate? Arguable. I think it's very important to learn that you need the right structure around these players. EG didn't do this by having a full team of rookies, right? They did this with bringing these players along through their system. They did this with having a very extensive coaching and development staff. They did this with having players like Impact and Vulcan, who are very, very experienced leaders, having Inspired, who's been around, still pretty young and not on the same level of experience as the other two, but can still be a leader, and then bringing those two rookies into that environment, setting them up to succeed. So you have to learn how to have that kind of a structure. And I think another one that's, that I kind of mentioned, right off the bat, the fans really love these hometown kids. The combination of being North American players, being so young, being so, I think the kind of the brashness of the trash talk and all that kind of stuff, the fans really love that. And then you take all of that and add being a winner on top of it. And it's such a great recipe for generating fans. I was actually kind of shocked with the degree to which the fans in the arena were behind Danny and Jojo. I didn't expect that. I don't know how many people did. But they just fell in love with them. And obviously I've been hyping these guys, and I hype a lot of young NA players but it is often a struggle to get the broader fan base to be as excited about them as I am. But once you get those guys and people realize not just, oh, it's a high potential rookie, but this is a winner, then you just get this flood of people saying, yeah, that's what we want to be behind. You want to be behind, fans want to be behind a winner, but if you put the right attributes onto that winner, if you make it the young, exciting, at least somewhat charismatic kind of North American player, fans really do love that. And I think we've had so much narrative over the past few years of NA sucks, there is no NA talent, every other region is going to beat us internationally. And it took that portion of the fan base that just wants to be excited about our players in our region, and it kind of suppressed them. And now we kind of took it feels to me like we took the lid off that group and said, hey, look, no, we're here, we're ready to be excited. We just need to be shown what to be excited about, and who to get behind. And here they are. So I think that's a really huge takeaway to have here. And that is not to say that importing players means fans won't be a fan of them. I mean, the fans were all over Perks, and deservedly so. The fans love Core JJ, and deservedly so. A lot of these players will also bring a lot of fans with them. But this was something that felt very different to me, because these were not legacy players who had had years to build up these fan bases. These were fresh faces who hadn't like come from somewhere else. Oh, they were world champion from Korea. They're an MSI champion from Europe, and and we built that up from there. These are our kids. And that can feel kind of tribalistic, I guess, a little bit. And it's not intended to be exclusionary or to be like, North America supreme over other places. It's just the hometown kids. So I think that's also a really big takeaway here, and just yet another piece in the puzzle to say, look, having a strong talent pipeline, having the right scouts and the right development staff and the right organizational mindset to bring the right kids along and find them, it just does huge things for your organization if you can do it right. And it does really good things for the league as well, I think. So a bunch of thoughts on what all of that means, what I think it doesn't mean. And I think this is going to be really good for the league as a whole. And I think EG and 100 Thieves and other orgs trying to kind of build along with their approach to success as well, I think they are orgs pushing us in that direction. So I hope that you can be excited about them the way I am too. Thanks for watching and supporting my content. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and check out the channel memberships if you want to get access to custom emojis, special roles in the Oracle's Elixir Discord, and other perks.